the wicked discussion topic, that is research ethics. So in this course so far we have talked about the different kind of research works and also research methodologies, how we design and how we generate the research questions and how we design the experiment and go on. Now, as we know that every kind of thing has some rules or rule based association. Based on that, we also have to maintain certain kind of things to do all the research work. So that is actually come under this roof that is called research ethics. So if we talk about research ethics, so first we need to know what is ethics. What do you mean by ethics? So ethics are like basically set of rules or moral principles that actually enable us to do the right thing in a in a given scenario. That means, for instance, that lying is bad or lying is not good. That we know, but how do we know? We know from our moral principles and those rules that govern the society. Based on those rules, we know that lying is not good. Similarly, for research, we have to have this kind of guidelines. Though there is in books, there might be some discussions, but beyond books also, the ethics actually not only research ethics but overall ethics actually governed by societal behavior. So similarly, in research, the society is the academia or research domains, or you can say the whole world of researchers. So it is also governed by some certain principles within this society, and that is research society. So it mainly educates us, or it mainly enables us to understand that to conduct a certain kind of research, what should we maintain and how should we maintain it. So these principles or these rules, whatever you can say, those are actually governed by some moral principles, some written rules, some societal rules like research societal rules, which actually enable us as a human or as a researcher to follow or to govern the society, or to govern or to provide any new insight in research following those rules. Why are you talking about are we talking about the ethics, research ethics or ethics? Actually, there are so much importance of this particular thing in research, because as we know that if we are not ethical while walking in the road, then it will be a chaos. We can see in the traffic jam of Dhaka that people ought to not to follow the rules, like they're more prone to break the rules. And you can see the vehicles, the rickshaw pullers, the car drivers, all the human beings, they are actually driving in like free will. So what creates through this free will thing? That is chaos, that is traffic jam. So similarly, in research, if we don't follow certain principles, certain things, then it will be a chaos as well. So for promoting any kind of research or to support any kind of value, or to understand the value of others' work, or you can say like to protect the data security or personal information, or behaving good in society, or use the research for our social development, for all these kind of things, the knowledge of ethics in research is very much important. That how these things can be dictated. I'll be saying dictated because research ethics actually dictates us that how do we conduct our research, and also how do we use our research in future. So that's why I am saying it is a dictator of research. And don't take it in like negative term. It is like a good term, that dictator means that this particular thing actually dictates a researcher, or like researchers like us, or newly joined researchers, that how should we follow certain things that can actually make us a better place. In ethics, there are so many components like moral principles, honesty, the right and wrong thing, the values, the choice, the fairness, many things are there. Similarly, in research ethics, there are some components, and in this discussion, we'll be talking about these kind of components. So, first, honesty. Honesty, we know that in general ethics or in normal ethics or ethical ground, honesty is very much important. Similarly, in research also, honesty is important. So, in general life, what do you mean by honesty? That is like doing good things to the people. Similarly, in research, the honest things are about data. Data, why? Because our current research, especially in computer science, we are data driven industry, right? We are working on different kind of data, and depend on that data we generate some methodologies, or we generate some results based on some methodologies, then we report it. So we have to honest about our data. Whatever data we have collected, whatever data we have at our hand, we have to properly describe it, and whatever it is negative or positive gist or result coming out from that data, we have to be honest about it. We cannot fabricate the data, we cannot like misinterpret the data. Suppose in any kind of interpretation, it should not be going towards any certain narrative beyond the data. Like whatever things are there in data, that should be represented in our narrative. Okay, so this is actually honesty about research. That second one is integrity. So what do you mean by integrity over in research? Simple, it is like extension of honesty kind of thing, that we have to keep our promises. Which promises? Like suppose you have collected data from me, and you have told me that, sir, I will be giving you the acknowledgement, or I will be giving as you a co-author. So you have to keep your promises. Or you have interviewed a certain group of people, suppose the minorities in Bangladesh, based on the current scenarios or the recent scenarios during the Durga Puja. So you are interviewing them. So when you are interviewing them, whatever information they have shared, you have said, okay, these are confidential, I will not reveal your names. But while you are reporting the data, or while you are representing the result, that time you prevail the name. So this is not your integrity. You are not down to earth to your integrity. So you have to follow these things. Like you have to be consistent of your thought as well, that whatever thoughtfulness or whatever flow you have designed initially, based on that design, you have collected certain data, and till the end, in the sense, till the point of reporting or publishing the results, you have to be consistent. Okay, this is my narrative, and I'll be trying to narrative in the sense, this is my research question, I'll be trying to answer it. Whatever data I have got, whatever the result we have got, I'll be publishing it, or I'll be answering it based on that. The third one is carefulness. It is very common that you have to be careful. Like you have to be careful your data, you have to carefully analyze your works. There should not be any certain negligence in your works. You have to be careful because you need to avoid the errors. So this kind of carefulness you have to follow. Then objectivity. What do you mean by objectivity over here? Simply, objectivity tends to that you have to strive to avoid any kind of biasness. Like the example I was talking about, that recent Durga Puja incident of 2021, that there are so many people have been killed, and there are so many houses have been burnt and all. So whatever, if you are studying that particular thing, if you are going to Noakhali and have a field visit and interview some people, then whatever narrative came out from that interview, you should be presenting that. Either you are supporter of that, you are like, I hope most of the people are not supporting any kind of violence. So you have to be unbiased on your representation, that whatever data you got, whatever narrative you got from your data, you have to represent that. As well as when you are doing certain kind of reviewing thing or writing anything for any publication or grants and all, you have to be objectified. Like this thing should be objective. Like the grant, you should not be writing any certain kind of thing which actually like uncover your identity. You should be covered your identity, because the reviewing system of grant or paper, everything are blind review system. So in the representation there should be nothing mentioned about your identification, rather your work or your findings. Then you have to respect the intellectual property. What do you mean by intellectual property over here? As we are talking about the research, so we are interested in any kind of patents, any kind of copyrights, any kind of tools, any kind of papers, whatever you are working, whatever you are using for your work, which is being published, you should be giving proper mention. That is citation. We are talking about it, citation over here, that you have to mention the author, the paper name and all, that okay, I have used this particular thing from there. If you are using anything unpublished, that is not yet published, but you got somehow you got access, you should have some confirmation from the owner. Like suppose any data or any finding you got which is not being published, but you know that that can be publishable, then if you know the owner, you should be finding him or her and have proper rights or proper permission to use it. Then only you can going with it. Actually, the thing happened in our domain that we tend to plagiarize a lot. That whatever we read or whatever we got some paper, we copy and paste it. That should not be done. It should be narrated in your own words and based on your own work, and giving the credit to that particular paper. Okay, I have got this thought or I have got this narrative from this particular paper. That actually you can say like strengthen your paper or give a depth to your paper to some extent that can be easily acceptable in any place, not only in paper, also in thesis, also in patent, on any kind of thing. Whatever material you are going to publish based on research, that in that paper or in that work, if you have used any work from other researcher, that should be mentioned properly. Then communicate. Like when you have got some result, you have answered your research question, then it is your moral duty to communicate the paper. Why? Because it can advance the research, it can advance the society, and you should not be doing any kind of research which is duplicative, right? Like suppose that should be a controversial okay, suppose you have analyzed something on research condition in Bangladesh, then the same narrative you have tried to in some other countries, and you are writing the same pattern of writing you have using, that is kind of duplicative research. You should not be doing it. You should be more focused on the advancement of the domain. Then the confidentiality again, or you can say like not again, actually confidential in the sense whatever records you got, whatever things you got, that should be confidential till the point of publication. And if you are working with some kind of security work or trade secret work, like secret works, then you have to be confidential about those particular things. Then openness. Okay, we talked about confidential just right now and we came to openness. Why the openness thing? When we are working in particular data or particular thing, we should be open about sharing those particular tools, whatever tools, like data, like methodology, the codes, even any kind of resources, systems, whatever, because that can actually enable to have a better collaboration which can advance a particular domain. And also you have to open about constructive criticism, that any kind of constructive criticism on your work should be welcome. That can give you another way to work with actually and to explore. So that is very much important, that you should be open. Then discrimination. Your research should not be any kind of should not have any kind of discriminative comments. Like discrimination means what kind of discrimination? Any kind of discrimination, like based on race, religion, sex, orientation, appearance, whatever. The factor which is not related to scientific competence, not related to the work you are conducting, if you are making some remarks on that particular factor, that is actually discriminative words. You are a social animal, so you have certain social responsibility as well, that whatever work you are doing, that should be actually build the social harmony, not harm the society. Using your research, your education, your findings, you have to ensure that okay, this will advance my society, advance my country. So these are the social responsibility of the researcher. Beyond these points, we have some other points as well, like animal care. If you are conducting any research or animal kingdom, then you have to careful that you are not hurting anyone, not hurting any kind of animal or any kind of animal in the world. You should be ensuring that. Then as a supervisor, now I am working as a supervisor as in this course for you, or I am working with my some project students. So as a supervisor, I have also some responsibilities, like monitor carefully, to have presentation, to evaluate your assignments and all. Or if you are my project student, I have to have some follow-ups regularly. I have to discuss with you that what are you doing and what difficulties you have. So these kind of responsibilities I have to occur with, and I have to conduct this kind of work so that the research can be advanced. When we are working any kind of human subject, especially the human surveys, we have to careful that we are not harming any human, as well as we are not prevailing any kind of information about confidential information or personal information of a human being. We have to be careful on that. And finally, the competence. We have to understand our own competence. How can we conduct our research? What should be the methods, and how can we follow the paths that okay, this will result in our good output. So that's all about research ethics. So basically, if we are giving it in a nutshell, that is that you have to follow some moral rules, you have to respect others as you are doing in your regular life, you have to incorporate those social behavior in your research work. Then we have a good research world or research society as well. So thank you for being with me. See you in the class. Happy learning. Bye.